The council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Kira Chen walked to the center platform, her boots clicking against the crystalline floor. Around her, representatives from 17 species watched with varying degrees of curiosity and suspicion. The Zerathi delegation, massive, fur-covered apex predators from a death world 3 systems away, occupied the largest section. Their alpha, Commander Vesherak, looming at the front. "The human wishes to address the council?" Vesherak's translator crackled. His 4 eyes narrowed, fangs visible beneath his curled lip. "We have already stated our position. The colony rights to Kepler 442b belong to the Zerathi Confederacy." Kira smiled, the expression lost on most species present. "Commander, I'm not here to debate territorial claims. I'm here to propose something different: cohabitation." A ripple of chittering and growling swept through the chamber. The Zerathi had never shared territory with another species. They were pack hunters, evolved on a world where everything either dominated or died. The concept of cooperation with outsiders was, by their cultural standards, weakness. "Impossible," Vesherak growled. "Humans are prey species, weak. Your kind cannot even grow natural armor or weapons. You would not survive a single cycle on a world we inhabit." Kira had expected this. She'd studied Zerathi culture for months, knew their history, their pack dynamics, their rigid hierarchies built on strength and dominance. She also knew something they didn't: that humanity's greatest strength had never been claws or fangs. "With respect, Commander, I'd like to demonstrate something. May I approach your delegation?" Vesherak's ears flattened against his skull. Around him, his pack shifted uneasily. Allowing a potential rival into striking distance violated every instinct they possessed. But they were also curious. Humans had a reputation for unpredictability that both fascinated and disturbed the galactic community. "Approach," he rumbled finally. "But know that if you threaten—" "I understand," Kira interrupted gently, already moving forward. She'd noticed them the moment she entered. 3 Zerathi cubs huddled behind the adult delegation, barely old enough to attend formal proceedings. Their eyes tracked her movement with predatory focus. Tiny muscles coiled to pounce or flee. In Zerathi culture, cubs learned dominance early. Everything was a test, every interaction a lesson in survival. Kira knelt slowly, making herself smaller, less threatening. The adult Zerathi tensed, but she kept her movements deliberate and calm. She extended her hand, bare, defenseless, toward the nearest cub. "No." The word came from Vesherak, sharp with alarm. "Human, our young do not have control over their bite reflex. They will—" The cub lunged. Tiny jaws clamped around Kira's fingers, needle-sharp teeth pressing into soft flesh. The chamber erupted in shocked vocalizations. The other cubs piled on, growling and tugging, their instincts screaming at them to tear, to rend, to prove their dominance over this strange, weak creature. Kira didn't pull away. She didn't flinch. Instead, she did something that made Vesherak's blood run cold with incomprehension. She laughed. "Good grip," she said softly, letting the cubs worry at her hand like it was a chew toy. "Strong jaws. You're going to be fierce hunters." The cubs paused, confused. In their entire young lives, everything had either submitted or fought back. This creature did neither. She simply accepted them. The smallest cub released her finger and tilted his head, a very puppy-like gesture of bewilderment. Kira used her free hand to gently scratch behind his ears. The chamber exploded. Half the Zerathi delegation surged forward, unsure whether to protect their young or attack the human. Vesherak raised a massive paw, halting them with a gesture, his eyes locked on the impossible scene before him. The cub was purring. Deep rumbling vibrations that signaled contentment and trust, sounds only made in the presence of pack, of family. The other cubs had released her hand and were now climbing over her, seeking the same gentle touch. "This is not possible," Vesherak whispered, his translator barely functioning. "They should be. You have no dominance markers, no threat display, no—" "How?" Kira looked up at him. Cubs now draped across her lap like oversized house cats. Her hand bore clear tooth marks, small beads of blood welling from punctures, but her expression remained serene. "Commander, my species doesn't survive through dominance. We survive through something you've never considered. Trust." She gestured to the cubs. "They bit me because it's their nature. I let them because I understood they weren't trying to hurt me. They were trying to understand me. Your young are testing boundaries, learning about the world. I'm simply showing them that not everything is a threat. Vishrak sat back on his haunches, a gesture of deep contemplation. Around him, his pack watched in stunned silence as the smallest cub, his own son, curled up in the human's arms and closed his eyes. On Earth, Kira continued, we evolved alongside predators far more dangerous than ourselves. Wolves, big cats, bears. We didn't survive by being the strongest. We survived by being the most adaptable, the most willing to form connections across species boundaries. We turned wolves into dogs, Commander. We made family from fangs. She gently scratched the sleeping cub's ears. You see weakness in our soft skin, our lack of natural weapons. But we see opportunity. Where you see a hostile universe that must be dominated, we see potential partners. The cubs bit me not because they're vicious, but because they're curious. And I let them because I trust that curiosity can become understanding. Vishrak was silent for a long moment. Then slowly he approached. Every member of the council held their breath as the massive alpha lowered his head to sniff the human, his jaws capable of crushing her skull with casual ease. My son trusts you, he said finally. In our culture, cubs have the clearest instincts, uncorrupted by politics or prejudice. They know threats from family. He paused, then did something unprecedented. He pressed his forehead against hers, the ultimate gesture of pack acceptance. Perhaps cohabitation can be discussed. As Kira carefully stood, cubs protesting sleepily at being disturbed, she caught the eye of the Federation observer. The insectoid diplomat's antennae quivered with what might have been amusement. Later, the observer would file a report that would circulate through the galactic community for generations. Humanity's danger lies not in their capacity for violence, but in their ability to inspire trust where none should exist. They make family from the unfamiliar, pack from strangers. Perhaps that is the most terrifying survival trait of all. But in that moment, Kira simply smiled and handed a protesting cub back to his father, her bitten hand already forgotten. Shall we discuss colony arrangements, Commander? Vishrak looked at his son, at the human's bleeding hand, at the impossible trust that had just rewritten his understanding of strength. Yes, he growled softly. Let us discuss the future.